Good evening. Good afternoon. How are we all doing? Just as that happens. Okay.
Don't tell me love isn't real. I've been putting up with Bibby for 16 months and I'm still here.
Thank you very much for putting up with Bibby for 16 months and still being here, sure. Don't tell me love is real. I'm not going to tell you anything. Welcome back for 16 whole months. How are you doing? I'd usually be saying good morning, everyone. Good morning. But it's 20 to 1 in the afternoon. So it's actually been a really good morning. Well, a really productive morning. I mean, it depends whether you think being busy is good or not. Me and Bibby have had a very busy morning, which is why we are now going live with this afternoon's edition of The Scoop. If anyone doesn't know why I'm saying that, it's because we usually go live at 10 a.m.-ish. We have an ish emote. If you have the
usually
ish,
is the key word there.
Yeah, usually. I mean, we aim to go live at 10 a.m.-ish. We don't often hit 10 a.m. We definitely hit the ish. Did you just spill water all over yourself then? At the corner of my eye, I saw that head movement that you do when someone's dropped something, but it was the noise that went with it. Bibby's just having a bath. There you go. Tune in for the after-hour stream where Bibby bathes on stream.
Fucking hell.
Get that back into a tub. You can sell
Embarrassing.
that. Bibby bathwater. There you, that's it. I mean, this is like Twitch from 2 years ago. We're back again, ladies and gentlemen. Everything comes around in cycles.
Dribbling everywhere.
Anyway, welcome in. My name is Graham. That dribbler is Bibby. We Ice Cream Uploads, and in true ice creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. We are here to bring you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games, and we will give you our thoughts and impressions on those stories, but we want your thoughts and impressions, and your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. Please do get involved in the chat. We do go live at 10 a.m. with the world's biggest ish on some days on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. We do have the live stream, but that live stream is then turned into a podcast, a video that goes on YouTube, and an audio podcast that goes on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and Google Play. Lots of places where people watch and listen on demand, but they don't get to get involved with us right here, right now, live in the chats. But you guys can do that. That's what you do. You do that on their behalf. That's why this is beautiful. That's why we do the podcast live on Twitch, because we want to have a little bit of a discussion. So make sure you do get involved. Speaking about getting involved, if you're a subscriber, as Shogun just is again for the 16th month in a row, then make sure you get involved in the loot drop. !loot drop will give you the information, but it's important. I mean, I mention it every day anyway because it's important. I want to make sure you guys get your money's worth, but it's even more important because today is loot drop day. So if you want to bag yourself one of these shirts that you can see hanging on the door behind me over there, or anything else that you'd like instead from our merch store, then if you're a sub, you need to be a sub, you need to be in our Discord, and you need Discord, and you need to have your accounts linked. Your Discord account and your Twitch account, they need to be linked. You do that in Discord. If you don't do that, then our Discord doesn't see that you're a sub and you don't get entered. So make sure you do it, because today we will be giving away one of the Ice Cream Uploads esports jerseys. We'll do that draw, be it on stream, or we'll just do it straight into the Discord. Either way, someone today will find out that they've won a prize. So make sure, if you're going to sub, if you got a free Prime, just sat there, not doing anything, drop it today. Make sure you're in the Discord and we're good to go. Nice. As well as that, ! Insert coin. This is the week. Not only is football coming home, but myself and Bibby will be streaming live on Wednesday. It's a busy day. You start off in the morning with a scoop. Then after that, we will have Bibby/Graham insert coin stream. And then after that, England booked their first place in a final of a major tournament forever. So yeah, busy. So make sure you check out ! Insert coin. Not only do you get a little bit of information about who they are, but you also get 20% off any purchases. Not that you have to purchase anything. It's free to watch me and Bib over on Insert Coin on Wednesday. But if you want to buy any stuff like West did the other day, then make sure you get 20% off. Nice. Scroll back through the chat. Aratrax, this intro cracks me up. Which bits? The poops? There's 2 farts within the intro, and if there isn't, there's been 2 farts on the intro, so nice. Gagad said, good morning. Ish. Guys, good morning, good afternoon. Aratrax is with the let's goes. Shogun then dropping the sub. Next Gen Base is here with one of the exclusive subscriber emotes, the only one that has an audible cue, which sounds a little bit like this.
Oh, hello?
No, it doesn't sound like that. It sounds a little bit better than that, babe. Try again.
I was going to take another drink then, but I might end up wearing it, so I'll just go with it straight off the bat. Oh,
There we go. We'll take that. We'll take that. 2 farts. Being harsh on yourself, lads. To be fair, it's not too far away these days. Not too far away these days. Aratrax says, "Will I win again?" Good question. Good question. Only one person has won the loot drop twice before, and that is Spike, aka Big Zombie Monkey. So if you are going to win again, you will be in a very elite crew. You'll be the second to get 2. So, you never know. You never know. Everyone has an equal chance. You've got to be in it to win it, and that draw will be taking place today. Let me jump into the split screen. Good weekend, babe. Good football results. Nice.
very good football results. Yeah, got to watch it again with my granddad. Booked in to go to the clubhouse again on Wednesday. I've got a 100% record of winning whilst in the clubhouse while watching football. So long may that continue. But yeah, it's a good weekend all around, really. What about you? How's your weekend been?
Yeah, same, mate. Same. It's good, mate. I will be sat on the couch at home with my pajama pants on and my England shirt because that's what I've worn for the last 2 games, and I'm not changing that up. So nice. Rip Bibs Audio. Really? What's up with Bibs Audio? It sounds fine to me. Wait, no. Okay. Just my PCs. Nice. There you go.
It's my PCs. It's got more than one.
It's probably. You know what? Next gen base are like splashing the cash. So yeah. By the way, check out exclamation mark 3D if you want some bits delivered, hand delivered by the postman from Next Gen Base. Then you can get some cool little bits like this. Nice 3D. So yeah, I will be watching.
I gotta do the hand movement.
I will be watching the foosball with my pajama pants on, my English shirt on, at home on Wednesday. I'll be getting out of my gear because after the Insert Coin stream, I'm usually pretty warm and sweaty because stream setup, lights and everything. Sexiest. I mean, that's the downside of having such good quality hoodies from Insert Coin. The fact it's nice thick material when you're out and about in the streets. Yeah, this is badass. When you're sat in a streaming environment, you need to make sure you have good ventilation. And I don't have a fan anymore, so fuck, god damn it. As well as that,
what time do you think we're gonna go live on Wednesday then?
See, in my mind, I was thinking like 2. So if we get the scoop and everything done, then we can go live 2 till. I mean, what time's kickoff? It's 8 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking 2 till 5.
I can't remember what it is that we were playing. What was it that we're playing?
We haven't decided. We have no decided.
Okay.
We've spoken about a few things, but we have not decided yet. But I was thinking 2 o'clock till 5 o'clock ish, something along those lines. But yeah, there you go, bro. You have lots of fans right here. Oh, there we go. Aratrax, you're trying to buy the win. Someone pick Aratrax again today, please.
He is.
Johnny PSM says happy Monday. Good morning. Afternoon. Good afternoon. As well as that, actually, one thing else I have to mention as well as watching the football, I finally finished Spider-Man Miles Morales yesterday. Badass game. Game. 100% of it in terms of in-game content, not 100% of it in terms of platinums. These bad boys, this platinum trophy, and I probably won't do that either because there's still 14 more trophies to go through, and it's just not my jam.
Platinums are for mugs anyway, mate.
I mean, I've got 2, mate. I've got 1 on PUBG.
One of them's on PUBG. If you hadn't have platinumed PUBG, and you're not a hardcore fan, are you? Do you know what I mean? Like the amount of hours that you played that game, like probably well over 3,000 hours. If you went to platinum that game, then you must have been fucking garbage.
To be fair, I was not like, I didn't realise. It was only when I was looking at the trophies, because I don't look at PlayStation trophies apart from these ones on my desk from Next Gen Base exclamation mark 3D in the chat, by the way. If I don't tend to look at trophies, I'm not much of a trophy hunter. It was only when I was randomly looking through and I saw I needed 1 trophy for PUBG. Everything else I ticked off naturally, and it was I don't know if it's 20 kills from a vehicle, which is actually, it sounds pretty basic, and it was one of the basic missions, but shooting from a vehicle used to be ridiculously hard. So that's when I started getting good at seat swaps and stuff like that, jumping into the passenger seat while the vehicle's still moving and shooting people. Ticked it off, bums. But yeah, I'd done like all but 1 mission without even realising it. But there you go. It's staying in Rome. It's staying in Rome. It's staying football, staying in. Get out of here, Gagad. It's not going to happen like that. But yes, anyway, that's enough of that. Foosball, good. Games over the weekend, good. News today, also good. Bib, question for you. And this is absolutely not, so I
Yes.
can pad out while I'm doing some other things to get the news articles ready on
Okay.
stream. If you were to play GTA and you were going to play GTA 6, I mean, how soon do you think you could be looking at for that? 6 months, 12
Well,
months, a year, 2 years?
Morrissey once sang in a very, very good Smith song, How Soon Is Now?
Good answer. Good answer. Well, I'll tell you how soon isn't now. 4 years. Ta-da! Andy Robinson at VGC says Grand Theft Auto 6 could still be 4 years away. New report echoes claims that the next GTA will have an evolving world map. So there we go, jump in. Grand Theft Auto 6 could still be 4 years away from release and feature an expanding map set in Vice City, it's being claimed. That's according to a noted insider, Tom Henderson, who has previously leaked accurate details about the next Battlefield game and corroborated by respected Bloomberg journalist Jason Schreier, as well as VGC's own sources. Henderson posted a video last week claiming that the new Grand Theft Auto installment would release in either 2024 or 2025, partly due to Rockstar's new focus on employee well-being, which comes following criticism of its alleged crunch culture. Journalist Schreier had reported for Kotaku last year that GTA 6 was Rockstar's next game, but claimed that it was still a ways away. On Sunday, he replied to Henderson's suggestion that the game would now release in 2024 or 2025, stating that everything Tom Henderson has said about the game matches up with what I've heard. Schreier added that previous comments he made suggesting that 2023 could be a realistic release for the sequel were made, quote, before we entered a pandemic that hasn't stopped. In April 2020 Kotaku report, in his April 2020 Kotaku report, Schreier claimed that management's efforts to reduce employee stress and crunch could see Rockstar release a, quote, moderately sized GTA 6 at launch and then regularly expand the game over time. This is something that is also claimed in Henderson's new report, in which he suggests that the game will take place in a modern-day Vice City, which is based on Miami, and that the location will change and expand with new areas after release, similar to Fortnite's game map. This also matches what VGC has heard about the next GTA game from its own sources. Okay, we'll stop there. We'll stop there. The rest of the article does have some relevant news, but that kind of goes on a tangent from what we want to look at, though. GTA 6, once again, the rumour mill is in full flow, but the game potentially isn't, or maybe it is, but in a much more humane sort of way, which means that a game that's so big, so full of options, styles, and elements, but requires tons and tons of resources. The only way you get those resources is to work people to death or give yourself a little bit of time, which could be part of the reason why GTA 6 could still be 4 years away. What are your thoughts on that, babe?
I'm actually going to throw this straight back to you, Graham, because I have an opinion, but I want to hear yours first. Do you genuinely think that it is going to be 4 years away?
Genuinely, if you'd have said to me GTA 6 is 4 years away, I would have said no, it's not. I would have said 2, but that goes off of just simple facts of timelines. We didn't get a brand new GTA game released at all for the last generation. We got GTA 5 released on the PS3, and we got GTA 5 released on the PS4. So the fact that they've missed an entire generation, I was thinking, okay, if it comes out in the next 12 to 24 months-ish, maybe 12 is a bit too soon, but 24 months, we could get the tail end of that PS4 generation. So you get PS4 and PS5 install bases, plus obviously Xbox One and Xbox Series consoles as well as PC. You get the full spread across all of the generations, and yeah, that's kind of where we are. It's probably longer than they would have liked. We've already seen previous reports coming out of Take-Two saying that they would like to release more games more often. They love the fact that GTA is a big money spinner, but they want more games, more money spinners more often. So I was thinking, going off of those news stories about them wanting more games more often, they have to be pushing to get something out the door, something big, something soon, something quick. So 12 months, but then you factor in the pandemic and so on. So yeah, I would have been in my head, next couple of years we'll have had GTA. The reason I say next couple of years as well is because we've seen nothing. Usually you'll start to get the rumor mill, not the rumor mill, not even the breadcrumbs. There we go, where they actually confirm it, and then they give you a little bit more information, and you see some trailers and stuff. We've seen none of that, so that's 12 months of promotion that hasn't started yet. So it's not going to be here in 12 months because we haven't started. It's not been confirmed. So 24 months, I was kind of thinking 4 years away does mean it's a fucking long time between one game and the next. I mean, when did the last one come out? Was it 2013?
13, I think.
So 11 years. That's almost 2 whole console generations if you go off that 6-7 year cycle. Obviously, it's more like 8-ish. But that's a long time. So yeah, would I have thought it would have been there? No. Am I bothered that it's there? Also no. Because I think that's the key thing. I am a little bit disappointed that we do have to wait so long, but only from a good place. The game's incredible. I'm ready for more. I'm ready for new experiences. I know GTA keeps giving new experiences, but you're kind of within the same realm. I feel like full visual fidelity upgrades, new landscapes, whole new cities, new vehicles, new ways of playing that can be programmed in from the very foundation of the game. I'm excited for all of that sort of stuff. But it's so good to see. That second paragraph. Henderson posted a video last week claiming the new Grand Theft Auto installment would release in either 2024 or 2025, partly due to Rockstar's new focus on employee well-being, which comes following criticism of its alleged crunch culture. That is so significant, that sentence on its own. We're not releasing a game that people like me would have expected to be coming out in 2 years. It's actually going to be twice as long as that because we want to look after our people. I mean, naturally, I'm sad that I'm not going to get to play the game, but I don't want to use the word disappointed because I'm not. I'm disappointed for myself, but that is wonderful. GG's. People aren't being murdered just so that I can play a game a couple of minutes early. I know it's obviously more than a couple of minutes, but GG's. Big news. So yeah, 4 years away, would not have expected that at all, but if it's 4 years and we get that fucking... I mean, GTA doesn't need its hand-holding for content creators. There's so much in there. Content creators can do whatever they want, and the game is still hugely successful. But something that is so big and has so many options... I mean, we're talking about Fortnite having a multiverse. GTA pretty much is its own multiverse of sorts anyway. So add to that an evolving and growing environment, you've pretty much got the multiverse that can then be expanded akin to the Warcrafty sort of games, which just sounds like 4 years away is a long time. But if that is what it is, that is the future. That's video game content creation for 15 years nailed right there. So yeah, it's a long way, but it's not a bad thing. Your thoughts?
I don't think this is going to be 4 years away. I think this might be a very small smoke screen. And not to say that they are going to be pushing the staff hard, that it's going to be classed as being crunch. Just think 4 years is too far away. I feel like they've probably had all the time in the world to get the basis of this game done, get this game, in motion for the longest time. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5, let's be honest here. If it was in 4 years' time, Grand Theft Auto 5 would still be the success that it is now. It still will. The amount of content that they have been pumping into that game, left, right, and center, is the reason why it's still one of the best games out there, and it's the game that's being sold extraordinarily well every single week that it's in the charts. I just can't see it being 4 years. I'm probably going to put my hat on it being 2. Because I think that they've already got the foundations of GTA 6 set in stone. I think 4 years is too long. I think that they're already well underway with this game, and I can't see it being 4 years. Again, that's not due to them putting the staff under any kind of pressure to get it out. Then I just think put it this way: the next gen, now current gen consoles have been out for nearly 8 months, 9 in some cases. By the time this comes out, it would be year 5 console cycle. I think that's too far in advance. I just genuinely think it's going to be 2 years.
No,
I can't see it being 4.
I agree. I mean, and disagree. Both. I don't know which one. I think you're entirely right. Also entirely wrong, depending on whatever Rockstar decide to do. But that's That said, though, they just didn't bother with a new game for the next generation, the last generation now. So, could you have ever seen GTA/Rockstar leaving out a generation entirely? No, no. So now I'm just like, do you know what? They can do whatever the fuck they want. So yeah,
Well, it doesn't actually feel like they have done though, have they?
no, not at
Like
all.
with the amount of content that's in the GTA Online, they don't even have a number next to it for that reason. That is very much the MMO slash World of Warcraft slash ESO slash Final Fantasy experience, where you get in the base game, but they continue to pump new stuff out for it. So it always feels like a fresh experience. It doesn't feel like you could go into the game now and have all of the stuff in there to a degree, like all of the timed events and stuff like that probably no longer exist in there. But every month or every couple of months, there's always something for you to be able to go into there that keeps the game fresh and relevant. There isn't any other games barring MMOs that is the case. It's surreal that the game is still going. And it's a very good idea that they didn't put a number next to GTA 5 Online. It's just called GTA Online for that reason.
I mean,
this will
that
probably
shows
go
you-
alongside Grand Theft Auto 6.
That shows you how intelligent that was. Like,
Thank you for the ice cream.
Ro, thank you very much for the host. Good afternoon, dude. How you doing? But we were talking about like Call of Duty dropping the 4s and going for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I mean, the fact that they've branched off Modern Warfare, that was a pretty smart move. That way they can go off and build their own series in that sort of direction. But then releasing, I remember when GTA Online first released and it was patchy, nothing worked, people couldn't get on it, there was fucking mega ass loading times, and it's like, why are they trying to make this into a thing? And now you fast forward 7,000 years later and it's like, okay, that was genius. That was very, very good. And yeah, the miles ahead of the curve. But yeah, like you said, I mean, the amount of content that they've put in to GTA 6 as well. And the thing is as well, it's kind of one of those where, did they need the content? Was it successful because they had the content, or would it have been successful without the content as well? Because the game is so good and has so much potential for things to do that it's literally like, just go out and play. I know loads of world have that sandboxy open world element, but it's just so well done and so wide ranging and so vast that people like from building like silly snipers versus stunters game modes through to there's a streamer called Swifter, and I remember a few years ago seeing him playing Simon Says, but like Swifter Says on the top of the roof on a rooftop. Swifter Says jump, and if you don't do it, then you get shot. You're out the game. Swifter Says lie down. Don't do it, you get shot. And jump again. Anyone that jumps, they're not supposed to because he didn't say Swifter Says, gets shot. And just seeing that catch on, tons, like thousands of people watching people playing Simon Says or Swifter Says in game. Like, the game was so good that it almost didn't need the content, but the content fed so much well into keeping the game alive. Like, they haven't released the game. They've missed an entire generation, and like Baby says, you just wouldn't even notice that they've done that because it's the game that we've all played this generation, even though it was just a remaster for the generation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like Next Gen Biz says, Rockstar can do whatever the fuck they want. Whenever there's a tiny bit of news from them, the internet breaks. I mean, that's it. What other brand has been so successful that just doesn't bother with E3? Just does not bother with Gamescom. It's like when you go to EGX, you can play Spider-Man. You can play any other game that's massive. Destiny's there with its big Virgin Media takeover. GTA, yeah, I'm not going to bother. Just going to wait until a couple of months afterwards and just put our own message out because you're all going to fucking love it. And it's like, we do. So yeah, it's exceptional. It's exceptional. Oh, actually, speaking about loving it,
I get enough of it.
just posted a link in the chat. That's the link to today's show. If you're all going to hit retweet on that, just let all the lunchtime crew know that we're live, because obviously we're a bit later than normal. Some people that might not usually get to join in the conversations might go and do that. So feel free to go and drop a retweet. Let's scroll back up though and catch up with what's saying. I call big cap on GTA 6 in 4 years. Don't believe it until I see it, says Aratrax. Next Gen Base says, makes sense if it's to improve well-being. Those getting angry about it would also be getting angry about bugs and crunch, so they can't win either way. Exactly. Rockstar's QA studio is very near me. I've heard some major horror stories about previous games back in the day. It sounds like they're making the right changes for staff. Show says, as gamers, are we spoiled by expecting such quick turnarounds on such massive titles? I mean, that's where I'd obviously naturally want to jump in with devil's advocates and saying, quick turnarounds? Is it a quick turnaround? Is 12 years 15 years or whatever it's going to be. No, it was 2013, wasn't it? So yeah, 12 years. Is 12 years a quick turnaround for a game of that size and scale? I mean, is it though? Did they just put a lot of effort into the first one, and did they wait too long? What is that too long? Is it just fine? And so, yeah. To answer your question though, we are spoiled. We do want stuff. We want it now. We want it last week, and we want it last week. But also having 6 other games that we've not even finished playing at the same time. So we are spoiled. We do want too much. We do want more than we can have. We want all of the things now. So that's a society thing as opposed to just a gamer thing. But yeah, we definitely are. So that's why I hugely applaud the ability to just go, do you know what? Fuck it. Okay, we've had 11 years by the time if we're going to release it in 2. So let's take 13 years. Who gives a fuck or whatever? 12 years. Let's call it 17 years, whatever. I love the fact that they can do that. That said, are they only able to do that because they're Rockstar? Possibly, but that's them playing their own game, doing their own thing. The fact that they can wait and so long to release the next one, no one else can really do that, but they can do that. So do that and look after your staff at the same time. Nice. On that, there was a comment. There we go. Mr. T says, I don't know anything about Rockstar or GTA. That said, working in the 2K arm of Take-Two, the mantra since I've been here almost a year has always been to look after employees first. I guess this falls into that, which is nice. That's exactly what you want to hear. You want to hear that completely. If we all say we want employees to be looked after, they're doing it. That's it. Let's just shut up, put up, carry on playing GTA, do some RP or whatever, and then we'll wait for 6 to come out whenever it comes out. If it's 2025, that's fine. If it's 2025 and they bring us such a landscape-changing experience that they did that with the last one. GTA Online just changed the landscape for Grand Theft Auto. We all liked GTA 3, 4, 5, 6, Vice, the GTA 3, 4, Vice City, San Andreas, and so on. But this has just been so much monumentally. It's it's a tectonic shift in the way that they create games. So if they do that again by bringing us an evolving map and content that just keeps coming in big ways over 12 years, then 2025. It's only a few years away. We'll take that. I'm just waiting for PC2 and Minecraft 2 coming out. What's PC2? PC2? Pino Crisis. Rockstar can do it.
PC2.
Yeah, I'm trying to. PC2. What do you mean by that, Aratrax? Explain. They teased Red Dead Redemption 2 with the Rockstar logo on a red background and broke the internet. I know. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to have so much influence, but then again, that comes based off of so much success. The only way you keep that success is to keep that influence is to keep the success, and if you keep the success, you keep the influence, and the influence makes it easy to keep the success. So they are on a pedestal where not many people can get to. It's almost like whatever the positive version of a vicious circle is. But you still have to keep hitting that high level of success to keep that level of influence. And they do. And not rushing a game out, not having to be at the same shows. Because, E3 and everything is good. Game of Christmas, as I call it. But if you have to rush to get your game at E3 and then it doesn't look quite as good, you're damaging yourself. But they are lucky that they've elevated past that position where they go, okay, we don't have to rush to be at E3 because people are going to pay attention anyway, which is wonderful.
Also, PlayStation have done, aren't they? It's like we don't have to be there when we release our own shows and stuff like that. People are still going to care. But that's because at this current time, regardless of what side we sit on, PlayStation are still leading the way in the industry standard when it comes to video games, albeit Xbox, in my mind, are doing everything better. However, this moment in time, PlayStation are still doing everything that they do correctly, and people not asked if they're at E3 or at Gamescom or what, they'll listen regardless. But yeah, I think it's the same thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I was gonna jump into a separate story. I didn't actually give the run through of what articles we were gonna talk about next. I'll put a pin in this one because we could be here for days talking about GTA, but I was going to talk about Rockstar co-founder Dan Houser has established a new studio. Obviously, he left Rockstar last year, I think it was, but I will put a pin in that one because Bibby just mentioned Sony. So I'll jump onto that. We do have another couple of articles following that one too, but we'll jump into this one first. And this was one that I posted in to our Discord over the weekend. It's an opinion piece as opposed to a full article, kind of like a news article. So it's not journalistic, it's opinionated essentially. So I won't go all the way through it, but this is good at summarizing what we were talking about last week. So I think we spoke about Sony for like 50 minutes in one episode last week, which is why this kind of stuck out. But Rob Fahey at gamesindustry.biz says Sony's PS Plus missteps risk the PS5's consumer image. Opinion. So the subtitle says publishers locking subscribers out of PS5 updates is a minor issue on paper, but in a critical year, the missteps may stack up. So jumping into the text, it says hardware supply shortages have created a very unusual first year for the two new consoles. I wouldn't call it a détente. I don't know what that actually is, but there we go. As such, but there's a sense that rather than getting right into the expected console war, the uneasy calm before the storm has instead been significantly prolonged. While consumers can't get their hands on either system easily, there's really no way of seeing the impact of various different decisions. Announcements or pieces of news on the demand side of the business. Week-to-week console sales are driven exclusively by supply-side concerns, and anything that impacts actual demand for these systems is removing a needle so far above the current supply level as yet to make no difference worth a damn. No difference worth a damn yet. Anyway, the snapping up of console hardware by eager consumers as fast as the fabrication plants and assembly factories can churn them out by disguising shifts in the demand side, but they're still happening. The first year of Xbox Series X and PS5 are setting up consumer perceptions and expectations for both platforms in fundamental and important ways, even if most of these consumers can't actually go out and buy either platform as yet. Xbox's solid showing at E3 couldn't shift any more units because there weren't any more units to shift, but it will in the long run. PlayStation's building out of its own exclusive software pipeline similarly doesn't make any difference to the installed base in the end, but it will in the long run. The lack of direct feedback from the consumer market makes figuring out where consumer sentiment is moving into a bit of an exercise in reading the tea leaves, but it can be instructive to look at social media and other online chatter, like The Scoop on twitch.tv/uploads each and every weekday at 10 a.m.-ish, about various different announcements and pieces of news. This isn't so much because what's being said is representative of broad consumer sentiment. Most regular consumers aren't out there having strong opinions about the story of the week on Twitter, after all, but because it gives hints as to what kind of image core consumers are building up of each platform's strengths and weaknesses, and how these influences are going to inform word of mouth around the platforms as supply issues settle down and competition really starts to heat up. Okay, this article takes longer to get into it than I thought it did. I thought I'll cut off the end, but we still haven't even got to the point. Okay, no, we'll continue. We'll continue. Will we? There we go. In that spirit, it's been interesting to watch the response to a relatively low-profile piece of news this week, the launch of a PS5 update for Greedfall. In general terms, this isn't remotely a big deal. Greedfall is fine, but it's not an especially huge or popular game, but it comes with an important caveat that seems to have ignited an already smouldering seam of discontent among the chattering classes, namely that it won't be available to people who got their copy of the game through a PlayStation Plus subscription. Greedfall's update isn't the most high-profile example of that strategy, of course. That award undoubtedly goes to Final Fantasy VII Remake, whose integrated update for PS5 also isn't available to people who played the game through PS Plus. However, by adopting the same strategy, Greedfall makes this look awfully like a trend, one that's indicative of what's easily, if uncharitably, characterized as Sony's ongoing problem with hardware, handling software that spans this generational transition, and more generally with how it's pitching PS Plus. Hello? I thought I heard a knock. Sure, Greedfall isn't a big deal, but the message being sent by this and Final Fantasy VII Remake that PS Plus games paid for through consumers' monthly subscriptions are lesser second-class citizens compared to purchase games is a potentially huge problem in the making for the company. The question of how Sony is going to respond to the value challenge posed by Microsoft's Game Pass is increasingly central to this entire console generation. By letting third parties devalue PS Plus editions of a game in consumers' eyes is not a great opening move for their riposte. Okay, well let's just stop there. You get the kind of point. It's another misstep. So I wanted to share that we've had the opinion that Xbox have been nailing messaging. PlayStation, not so much. They've been taking a few little missteps in terms of trying to get money off of developers and publishers for crossplay and things like, is PS Plus value for money when you've got Game Pass doing bits on the other side of the fence? Now this article, I didn't even notice this, that Final Fantasy VII and Greedfall, both games came out and they were free on PS Plus. That's wonderful. I pay for my PS Plus subscription. I get games free with my PS Plus subscription. Exciting, nice. However, now they've added some extra updates to those games that are paid for. The fact that you've got that game, you're progressing massively through that game. You could have sunk hours into it every day since you got it free on PS Plus, that you've paid for, actually, that you've paid for on PS Plus. Those updates don't count. You have to go out and buy the full-fledged version of the game, because even though you have been playing it and it's exactly the same game as every other one, it doesn't count. You haven't paid for the game. Therefore, your PS Plus subscription is inferior. It doesn't count, which is exactly the opposite to what Xbox messages is. You pay for Game Pass, you are in. You have the winnings. That's it, you've won. PlayStation is, okay, you are a peasant that gets free stuff, so if you want to enjoy the good stuff, you have to go out and buy that game. Thoughts, Bib? Thoughts?
You know what? I'm going to go against what you just said. I think them giving away the base game of the game, that the PlayStation 4 version, is absolutely fine. That's cool. Go ahead, play everything you want. But if you want the PS5 version, then you have to pay for it. You've got the original base game for free. If you want the extra added bits and you have to upgrade, I think that's a fair deal. I genuinely think that's a fair deal, because the game that they have given away is the PlayStation 4 version. If you want to play the PlayStation 5 version, you have to pay for it. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think obviously they're trying to cash in on some areas, and obviously Xbox with what was the name of it? Smart Delivery. I've just seen Ben put in the chat, Smart Delivery. That's cool. That's absolutely fine. Xbox have lived and died on that hill, and it's working for them. I get where you're coming from, and I get where everybody else sees this as PlayStation not going the extra mile. They're not giving you that extra incentive as part of your subscription. They're not giving you that extra detail. But they've given you the base game. Well, it's not even the base game. I'm saying like the base game is just like one part of a 6-parter. It's the full game of a PlayStation 4 version. But if you want to play the PlayStation 5 version, you're like they're well within the right to ask for the money for that, because I say the other thing that's going to be different is the graphics and the way things are, because that's obviously what the next gen versions of the games are. If you want to play that, that's absolutely fine. For me, I just installed the PlayStation 4 version and played a little bit of it. I didn't play enough of it to actually enjoy it, but would it make me want to buy the PlayStation 5 version? I don't know. But I don't think it's a bad thing. They need to get the money from somewhere. They've literally given the game free to anyone for this to be able to pick it up if you had the PlayStation Plus active for that month and you actually picked it up. But I don't personally see it being a bad thing. If they wanted people to play the PlayStation 5 version, you have to pay for it. I don't see that being a bad thing.
See, I do. And I think that comes back to where we've spoken about the likes of PS3 to PS4, Assassin's Creed having... Oh, you've got Assassin's Creed on the PS3. Do you want to play it on the PS4? Boom. There you go. 10 quid. Just put the disc in. It'll say, oh, actually, do you want to buy this for your PS4? It's going to cost you 10 quid. Boom. You've got the game. You've paid for it already. You have ownership of this through one way or the other. So we're not going to charge you full whack again for it. But we have done work on this. So pay for the upgrades. Don't pay for everything else again. And by paying for PS Plus, you are doing exactly that. You've paid for your core game, so pay for the upgrades. And there isn't even an option for that. But where was it? There you go. Jordan's comment. Greedfall announcing Game Pass players get the next gen update. PlayStation players, it got awkward. And that's the thing though, is like, yeah, there's probably money changing hands or whatever behind the scenes that sorted that. Okay, that's all well and good. But the real question though comes back to consumer image. Is this, it's only a little thing, but is it a little thing with another little thing, and then suddenly a couple of little things start to mount up? Pennies eventually turn into pounds, pounds turn into £10, into hundreds of pounds, into big money. Is this cumulative? Is it war of attrition, death by 1,000 cuts kind of thing? I feel like it could be, because yes, it was a free game, but it's a free game that you paid for. But it's that reputation of it. PS Plus, you've paid for it, but yeah, you got it free. So yeah, you got it free.
Whose direction was it though? Was it PlayStation that are asking you to pay it, or was it the people who created it are asking? I've lost who actually created Greedfall, but who was it that's putting the barrier there? Is it PlayStation, or is it the people who've created it?
Well,
I need to find out because it's going to do me in.
We don't actually know, but it doesn't really matter in that sense because it's PlayStation. If it's not PlayStation, it's PlayStation. So yeah, it doesn't. The fact that Xbox have made sure that it's fine for everyone and PlayStation haven't. It's the initiative that's been shown there in that sort of sense. Then.
Yeah. Well, Xbox are taking the hit, then, aren't they? PlayStation are taking the hit. Xbox are taking the hit with the upgrade fee. If Focus Home are the ones going, okay, because when you get a game on PlayStation Plus, PlayStation pay like a certain amount, don't they? We brought up the chart before, so some people might get 1.5 million, and then other companies might get 500,000 or whatever. So, say for instance, PlayStation paid Greedfall for the month of January.
Was epic, but yeah, I imagine it's the same situation. Yeah.
So, if for instance, PlayStation in January give Focus Home Interactive 1.5 million to have that game for a month as the giveaway game, that's absolutely fine. But if Focus Home then go, actually, we're going to make a PlayStation 5 version of that now, that's absolutely nothing to do with PlayStation, is it? PlayStation aren't going to go, okay, well, we'll take the hit for that for you, and the £20 or whatever it is for you to play the PlayStation 5 version. That's Focus Home saying we're going to make a new version of it, or we're going to make it a lot better, visually better, runs a lot better using the PlayStation hardware. That's a Focus Home to say, we'll give it you for free. That's not for PlayStation, is it?
Well, apparently, I mean, I do kind of remember seeing that. Enix saying because of the whole PS5 SKU separation, developers have to make a separate version to utilize next gen. Xbox, it's just a patch as they're still the same SKU. So that's the reason why PS5 is charging. Because to be a PS5 game, which makes you fully PS5 access to the full-on hardware and means you can only use the DualSense controllers and this, that, and the other to release a full PS5 game. Yeah, you have to release it as a separate SKU, whereas Xbox goes, nope, it's fine. Anyway, let me just pause there for a second. I'm going to jump back through because there was comments at the end of the GTA article that I had cut off just so we can keep up with the conversation. Vish! Good afternoon, says, to be fair, Rockstar are one of the only companies that get away with long times because of their products are top quality, and people know Rockstar don't half-ass their shit. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Nail it. Aratrax, it's a joke. You have PC and you just upgrade as parts come out, but they came out with a PC. I get you. There we go. Back in the room. West, I'll read. Next Gen Base says, big oofs here for Sony. Smart delivery on Xbox sounded like a marketing term, but it just works. Same with save transfers. Enix says Xbox smashing it on every area at the moment. Sony smash it on quality titles and games. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrated was an absolute mess. If you got it on PS Plus, you had to buy the disc version to upgrade. Enix says Greedfall announcing Game Pass. I know I've done that bit already. Thing is, you can't just pay £10 for for the enhancements or similar. It's a bit shit. Enix says Final Fantasy VII Integrated explained digital PS4 version, PS5 upgrade for £20. PS Plus version non-upgradable. If you carried on your save, you're locked out of upgrading PS5 version of Integrated. £70 people complain that their PS4 digital copies got overwritten by the PS Plus version, and Sony did warn, don't get the PS Plus edition as you won't be able to upgrade. It just didn't really follow it, but that's the point. He didn't follow it. It was just it's a mess. Cue a meme of Greedfall being shown as £10,000 in the PS Store because of the whole PS4. Yeah, okay, I've read that. Imagine having to buy a new version of the same game to play on the new consoles. PC Master Race says Aratraxball. There's that too. Next Gen Base says, I see Bib's point, but the argument is that if a PS5 upgrade is free for others, but it's locked out for PS Plus, that's a bit shite. And that
See, I don't see that being shite, because the people who've paid for it originally, who's paid the £35 or £40, whatever it was when the game came out, they're getting a free upgrade. The people who have to pay for it are the people who've got it for free in the first place.
But they didn't get it for free, though. They paid for PS Plus.
Well, because it's on PlayStation. Well, it's still a free game.
It's not, though. But
you pay for your subscription to play online.
I mean, that's what
and then
that's
you get
what we
games,
refer
like
to
Games
it
of
as.
Gold is.
But it's not, though. That's the point, though. Is it's the image, it's the reputation. Because you're getting stuff.
You've not bought the digital rights for the game, then, have you?
You've bought.
If you want to play
you've
it
paid
like
for a
that.
subscription that gives you access to games. So that's like on paper, you're looking at that as a discount. You should be happy that you've got something out of this. But it's like, no, I'm paying for this to get that. Whereas now you're lowballing and lowering the value of my subscription, which is where the whole kind of discussing now of Sony/PS5's consumer image.
Yeah.
So you lowballed me in the beginning. I didn't get good quality games every month with PS Plus, which is a big core tenet of your marketing. You tell me that you're giving out so many different games, but what I get is a potential knockoff version, because I didn't actually pay for it. It was just something that we threw at you for free kind of thing. And I think that's where the difference is Xbox. It's now you get a Game Pass. That's it. You get Game Pass. You get all of the stuff, and it's incredible. High fives. Whereas PlayStation's like, yeah, that one fell off the end of a shelf. It's got a little bit of a dent on it and a little bit broke off, but we stuck it back on. But it looks kind of like the same one. So yeah.
I mean, don't forget, Games Pass. A game you have to pay a completely different amount of money for Games Pass. Like, for you to have Games Pass is a completely different subscription to what it is to have your Xbox Live. Like the Xbox Live, you get free with Games with Gold, and you'll get 3 or 4 NAF titles. But you have to play another £11 or whatever it is for Game Pass. That's a completely different scenario than it is for paying PlayStation Plus.
That's lost in the semantics, though. I mean, but the same sort of thing, though. If you did pull it back to Games with Gold, yeah, you get shit games on that compared to Game Pass. But the Games with Gold games, I bet they don't treat that as like the Reduc trainers and the Umdros. It looks like the real game, but it's the free version. And I bet Games with Gold skews.
Have you seen the games on Games with Gold?
Well, no, because it's a shit
Games
offering.
with Gold games. The Games with Gold games are games from 20 years ago. Like I don't think anyone's even redeemed a Games with Gold game in like the last years, because I
think I logged in about 18 months ago.
Bargain basement stuff.
And you have to do it twice a month, which is just like effort. But that's the point, though. That's all lost in semantics. It's if you committed to paying for something, doesn't matter what it is, you paid for a product. And one of the things that you pay for is solid online / party services / games every month. But they are devaluing their own proposition at the same time that Xbox is fully funneling it into their proposition. I know Xbox is 3 times as much. Yeah, 120 quid over the year as opposed to 40 quid over the year. But then
does anyone know if the Games with Gold games are scalable, though? Because we know the Xbox Game Pass ones are because of the technology that they use, but the Games with Gold stuff, are those scalable if you've redeemed them?
I don't know for certain, but I would be incredibly surprised because of the skewing of the systems. Xbox have a game, and you get access to that SKU as opposed to get access to a B-Tech version of that SKU kind of thing. And I think that's what it comes down to. I mean, there is no right and wrong. You can fight each way, as we've been kind of doing in that little bit of a back and forth. Then there is no right answer, there is no wrong answer, but it's just what will be the right answer when judged in the court of social media, judged by opinion. And that's the thing, though. Xbox are playing the right game. They, just in the same way that getting Shuhei Yoshida going, this is how you share games on PlayStation, they were opening up their case in the court of social media. They were judged by the masses. And that's the game that they were happy to play with. And that's the game that is now biting them back, because saying your free games, which paid for, because they legally cannot say that you get them free games. They have to say these are your PS Plus games, because they are legally not free games. They're paid for. they're now being judged in the same courts that they were using to their advantage, and they're being found out in the same way that Xbox were found out previously. So it's a misstep, which is a good use of phrasing from Rob Fahey at GamesIndustry.biz. It is a misstep. It's not major, but missteps are critical, particularly when people are still opinion forming. And at the moment, PlayStation are in front, but maybe it's a race that's already been lost. We don't know that because like the whole start of the article was all about the race is on, but you can't see it because there's so many conflicting messages. Xbox will sell everything. PlayStation will sell everything because there's not enough. It's almost like starting a 100 meters race, but the first 30 meters have got a big fucking tunnel over it. You know that everyone's having good times in there, but you can't really see who's in front. When we get to the end of that tunnel, when the supplies stuff is gone, it'd be interesting to see whether PlayStation are actually still in first place or whether they're still at the back, like fucking sorting the shoelaces out, and Xbox is like full on Usain Bolting it down the track. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting.
I mean, obviously, people are going to side with the stuff that you potentially do want for free, aren't you? As a consumer, we want as much as we potentially can for whatever money that we're putting forward. And if we get a lot of free shit with that, it's absolutely fantastic. And if we are all blindsided by that. If I went into a shop and I bought a crate of dark fruits and someone said, actually, you're able to get another set of dark fruits for it at Morrison's that you can get two for the price of one, or in Asda, you're not going to get another you're not going to get another crate. Chances are I'm probably going to go to Morrison's. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm getting more for my money as a consumer. And I think we're always blindsided by that because we want as much as we can for as little money as we can potentially give forward. So when something like this happens, where you think, okay, them over there, they're doing something a little bit better, then we are going to potentially side with Xbox on this occasion for the likes of Greedfall being a better version of the game. You get in for free because of the subscription fee that you've already been playing. Like that just goes without saying because you are a consumer first and you want as much as you can for your money. But I personally, I have no problems. If I was a massive Greedfall fan and the first person that I played like I did with the PlayStation Plus version, as fast as I'd have absolutely no problems in paying the extra 20 quid or whatever to play a PlayStation 5 version. If that was the same with Resident Evil now, if I bought the PlayStation 4 version, I had to get the PlayStation 5 version later on, I would have no problems in paying that because I know what I've got and I got it for free originally.
The thing is, though, some people do have problems in paying that, like physically.
Yeah, of course they do.
And that's kind of...
That's not PlayStation's or Capcom's or Focus Interactive's fault, is it?
It's no one's fault, but it's something that will influence consumers.
Problem.
Yeah, well, it is. It's everyone's problem in that sort of sense. It's no one's and everyone's in arbitrary wording in terms of that will become their problem because if suddenly the games that you want to play, okay, well, I don't have much money to games, so what I do is I pay for PS Plus and I play my games that way, and I stick with the games that I want, and then suddenly that will be PlayStation's problem because if it becomes a financial factor, then people will start to have to choose Game Pass, and it's kind of the reading the room sort of element of it is yeah, go out, do your own thing, make your own games and work in the way that you're working, but these missteps and that consumer image and reputation is all about reading the room. What has the market stall at the other end of the market hall done? If you walk into a market hall and you're saying we all get influenced by sales, but that's a big thing. If you walk into a market hall and there's two people selling similar things, but someone's got all the bells and whistles, you get this free, this and this, you'd instantly go towards that and all credit to Xbox for pushing that. I just not that PlayStation are shit or wrong. Like I said, there is no right and wrong answer in this. It's just they need to be seen to be right better than they are, whether they're right or wrong. And Xbox are being seen to be right, and that's PlayStation's issue, is the fact that whether it is right or wrong or whatever is up for debate. But people seeing it as wrong is akin to it being wrong. Reputation and visibility is the same as that's like I said, judged by the court of social media, already guilty. That's it. You've lost. And that's the thing that they were heavily into. Okay, we need to influence position. This is for the players. PlayStation for the players, and they were fully all behind that. And now it's I can't remember whatever the next gen game one, the PS5 messages. But it's not for the players anymore. It's kind of for the players-ish, but we're also making a shitload of money. And that's is that what they're playing by? No, but that's what everyone's accusing of them being, and they aren't managing expectations or reputations as well as everyone else is. So as it mentions, in summary, it's not our opinion, it's Rob Farhay's opinion, but it might be your opinion. You don't have to agree with it or not. But in a critical year, the missteps may stack up, and they might do. It might not be enough to dethrone, so to speak, but it's definitely going to be working in Xbox's favour for sure. Anyway,
that's nice, because me and you both have disagreed on this one. I don't think we've ever had that before.
Let me just hit the mute on Bib. Do we disagree, Bib? No, we all agree. Oh, there we go. Nice. Jumping in, shame really, I don't agree for next-gen features you need to pay. They could have handled Ghost of Tsushima better. Next-gen features as it's only rumble and triggers and voice acting, and then advertise the expansion for extra money. Mr. T says it's a mess from the PlayStation side. Enix says, feels like Ghost of Tsushima New Island was tacked on to try and justify charging for DualSense features. Faster loading game was already rapid and improved lip sync. I think it'd be easy to stomach if there was an easy path to upgrade for £5-10. Their archaic SKU system makes it all very messy. And that's the thing, though, is like, there's nothing wrong with that. Charging people extra money to get access to features that have taken extra time, development, and resources and stuff, that's wonderful. But it's PlayStation in the 3 to 4 generation, in my mind, would have been looking at ways to put that sort of stuff in, whereas PlayStation are like, oh, do we need to put the effort in there because we're already making the money? And it's like, it's not about the money, it's about the users, for the players. That easy upgrade system would have been there for the players, and now it's there for the profit. Hashtag for the profit. 2 PS5 games for the same price of Game Pass. Iceman says, so the PS Plus available Final Fantasy VII Remake was an inferior version advertised as the normal version. I mean, that's one way to look at it. They need to kill games with gold with fire. It's absolutely terrible. It's not good. It's not good. This says next gen base regarding the upgrade fee, although it then gets messy when people who have Plus technically own the game, but if they then unsub, they'll be locked out of it. That's a good point. It's a good point. So you own an upgrade quality, but you don't have the onboarding piece of software anymore because you've lost your subscription. Yeah, so yeah, maybe there's that, but then maybe if that's just a clear bit, okay, you can still use your upgrade as long as you're an owner of this content, either with a disc or with a digital version through PS Plus or paid for. But that's their archaic system doesn't allow for that way around it. Imagine paying to play online. PC Master Race prevails again. Okay, I'll stop now. Aratrax, get out of here. Next gen base, Tony Hawk's next gen upgrade is still sat in my PS car. I'm not pulling the trigger yet because I've got all the games in my backlog. But yeah, that's a better way to deal with things, I suppose. Tony Hawk says, weird next gen upgrade. You had to buy the disc version on Xbox, but the PS5 got the update digitally and physically. I think it all comes down to the philosophies. Xbox, you've got the game, end of story. PS, you've got this specific version of the game. Deal with it. I know, and that's the thing. It's not a bad way. It's not the wrong way, but is it as good a way? And that's purely down to perception. It's a very subjective way of dealing with things, but that's the point of that opinion piece. In a critical time, little things could be big things. I mean, we still sit here 3-4 times a week and go TV, connect, TV. So, yeah, it seems like a never-ending pile of negative news for PlayStation. That I think that the PS5, while gold dust, the new Xbox machines are streets ahead for the gamer crowd. I mean, obviously that conversation could then change if PlayStation start delivering exceptional titles and Xbox keep giving you free stuff. It's like, okay, is that just free stuff to keep me happy, but not really good? So there's it's a story that's never finished. It's a conclusion that is never infinite. You can make a conclusion just as long as you're willing to change your conclusions. Then you're in the best position. If you're a fanboy, then you're not. Then you're just mugging yourself off. But yeah, PlayStation are doing things that I don't entirely agree with right now. But I still have a PS5 sat there and no Xbox. Yeah, as we know, Sony's business model is maximizing game profit and hardware. Xbox is getting you in the Game Pass ecosystem. Worst thing is with Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate is that only one section of the game got a full next gen update. They left the rest without the bells and whistles because it's not used in the new expansion. Really lazy. every company wants to maximize profit. It's capitalism, isn't it? Microsoft are just going a different route with it. Also sums up their philosophy is Xbox are service-based, PlayStation are hardware/software-based. I'm just going to I'm going to scroll. For the payers. There you go. That's the one. PlayStation, and now for the players. West's insert coin teas have just arrived. Nice. Okay, I am going to fly forward because we are over time effectively now. So let me jump into the next bit of news. So going back to the Rockstar area-ish. Sherif Saed at VG247. I'll go past this and then jump into the next bits of news, and we can do like a little bit of a wrap up that way. That we can get through all the news then. Rockstar co-founder Dan Houser establishes new studio. This is like I said, Sherif Saed at VG247. It says Dan Houser may be plotting a comeback to the world of game development. Dan Houser, the co-founder of Rockstar and a key creative behind many of the studio's most successful games, including GTA and Red Dead Redemption, left the studio early last year. Now the veteran designer looks to be back in games. As spotted on GTA forums via VGC, Houser registered a new company in the UK called Absurd Ventures in Games. The company's house listing describes the company's business as providing ready-made interactive leisure and entertainment software development. Houser is listed as producer and creative director, and the company was only just incorporated on June the 23rd, but that's not all. Houser also registered 2 other companies in the US with similar names, Absurd Ventures LLC, as well as Absurd Ventures in Games LLC. Both registered in February. The US companies are based in Delaware, whereas the US company is in Cheshire. Interestingly, the UK studio's listed address is the same one for Oakwood Corporate Security Limited, a company that handles admin and business needs for other companies, such as managing their company's house filings. Beyond that, none of the registered companies list any other staff than Dan Houser himself. Along with his brother Sam, Houser, along with his brother Sam, led the development of many of Rockstar's iconic games, such as GTA and the Red Dead Redemption series. While Sam Houser continues to lead Rockstar today, Dan's departure came after an extended break following the launch of Red Dead Redemption 2. So not too much to say there, other than Dan Houser could be back into the world of video games. Anyway, someone just check on Next Gen Base, because we're about to start talking about Titanfall 3 being announced. I'm only joking, not quite that far, but let's jump in anyway. Vikki Blake at Eurogamer says, a hacker has hacked Apex Legends to complain about Titanfall hackers. The tagline says, Titanfall 1 is being attacked, so is Apex. So Titanfall fans have hacked Apex Legends in an effort to flag the attention of developer Respawn. Log into Apex Legends on PC right now, and instead of the usual playlist, you'll get the URL savetitanfall.com with the subheader Titanfall 1 is being attacked, so is Apex. Players are also getting an important message at the end of each match that requests players visit and repost savetitanfall.com, a website that's been online since at least March 2021. Affected players are seemingly unable to access other game modes, essentially blocking them from playing at all. Quote, Titanfall is a beloved franchise by many, including NGB, and hackers' issues have been at rise, a statement on the website concerned insists. The Titanfall community has been begging Respawn to fix this issue for over 3 years, but to no avail. Today, the game is still being sold while being completely unplayable. It's time we speak up. Titanfall 1 is currently unplayable on PC due to hackers using exploits that prevent players from being able to play the game. The explanation adds, thanks Apex Legends News, this issue has been happening for years and Respawn is willingly pretending that they do not know about the situation. To this day, Titanfall 1 is still on sale on the Origin and more recently Steam, even though it's unplayable. Respawn, the developers, have been contacted about this matter numerous times in many ways. Even when the developers have been directly contacted, as soon as the topic, the Titanfall 1 problem, is brought up, they stop replying. Electronic Arts, the parent company of Respawn and publisher for Titanfall 1, are aware of the situation, with countless reports to their client support and forums over the years. As yet, developer Respawn has not publicly commented on the hacking. Ironically enough, hackers and cheaters are already on the minds of Respawn when it comes to Apex Legends anyway. In recent months, players have reported increased DDoS attacks on ranked games, with Respawn pledging to take huge steps to fix the problem. As recently explained on Twitter, Respawn said it's hiring more people to focus on manual bans and is also investigating new ways to catch and remove cheats from games, presumably through automated tools. Respawn also specifically addressed the DDoS problem, saying it was developing more tools to automatically detect and stop DDoS attacks. I mean, do you know what? We'll leave the last article. We can move that one to tomorrow. So we'll hold things there so we can just have a little bit of a chat. Anything new to mention about Dan Houser setting up a new studio? Or is that just kind of like, kind of what you'd expect? One of the guys who's made one of the most successful video games industry companies in the world is back into making video games. Is there much to say there?
No.
No. How about hackers hacking one game to draw attention to another? I mean, I don't agree with hacking at all, but that's almost like the Robin Hood. It's committing a crime to benefit people that are neglected. What are your thoughts, Bib?
Well, I don't know entirely of the issues that the Titanfall 1 community are facing at this moment in time. But to hack another game to try and get attention, is this very much I don't want to say peaceful protest, because you are obviously disrupting an entirely different community that has they have nothing to do with what you're currently facing. But I don't know how long this has potentially gone on for them to get this pissed about it. If Titanfall 1 came out as a launch game for the Xbox One, I think. So when was that? 2014? How long has this been going on for that they are just tired of not being able to play this game to its full potential? And then they're having to go to extremes to hack a newish game that everybody's playing instead of Titanfall to get attention. Like I say, it's a bit Robin Hood, but is this going to fall on deaf ears? Are they just going to be able to patch Apex and just go, actually, because you've just disrupted us, we're not even going to fucking bother? I mean, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't know what EA, if they even have this on their radar to sort out. Respawn, shall we say? Pass, no idea, but it does feel a bit bizarre that they have hacked another game to try and get eyes on the problems that they have with a different game from 7 years ago. Yeah, no idea, but it's a bit bizarre.
I will applaud it for getting attention. I will not applaud it though, generally, because you are taking people. The reason we don't like cheaters is because you're fucking up people's time, and time is more valuable than any money. I have more games than I have time. So when I play a game, I'm giving up some of my time to that game. Usually it's PUBG, but still, yesterday it was Spider-Man Miles Morales. Ta-da! But I donated some of my finite resource of time. I don't have all the time in the world, literally, because none of us do. So giving up some of my time, someone goes in to give up their time to play Titanfall, to Apex Legends, and they can't play it, then that's just like, it's a shit.
I'm surprised
situation.
the servers are still on Titanfall 1.
Well, they're kind of not ish, and that's the problem. But yeah, it is a bit of a dick move, but I will still applaud the creativity there, because it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough to throw someone else into danger to help get yourself out of danger. That's like you're drowning and you're dragging someone else down with you. That's not how you stay alive. That's not the right way. There's all sorts of analogies that you can throw out that'll fight for it or against it, because deep down it comes from a good sort of place in terms of they want to be able to play a game, and they have been mugged off. EA, as it mentions, are happy to sell Titanfall 1 with the idea that you can play the game online, but it's massively flawed and broken, but they're still happy to earn the money from it. They're not happy to fix it. And I get where it's coming from. It's just this ain't it, Chief. This is just not how you want to go about it. You've got your 15 minutes of fame. You've got SaveTitanfall.com out there, Ben, and you've hacked the game, Ben. Okay, you've done it. Turn it off now. You've seen it. Now your message has made it onto global press, or games press at least. Stop. It's not going to make it everywhere, but you've done as much as you need to do now. We get the point. The point has been made. If you go beyond that,
It's because Respawn haven't acknowledged it though.
Possibly, but
It's falling down.
Will they acknowledge it at this point if they've not acknowledged it any time before? Potentially not, which is where the frustration comes from. And I completely agree with their need to escalate it, because they're being mugged off. They are the community, and Respawn have just gone, oh well, we're making shitloads of money anyway. The Titanfall community will be there. Fuck it, we'll come back to it in a bit. And it is one of those things. It's probably a business decision. Their developers are working on Apex Legends, which has probably earned more money in its time than Titanfall did in its entirety. Not that it wasn't a big game, but Apex Legends arguably was massive. So they're prioritizing and putting that into the game. There was a comment, it's gone now, but basically you fucked up the time of the developers. The developers themselves that you want to work on your game are now working on fixing the stuff that you've just broken, rather than fixing the stuff that they should have been fixing previously. So stop it and then have the conversations again. And if it doesn't, then look at different ways of going about it from that point in time. I don't mind a protest that causes a little bit of unrest, because there's a quote about protests. I can't remember exactly what it is, but the gist of it is, if you do a protest that's peaceful and doesn't ruffle any feathers, then that's a protest that suits the establishment. That's not a protest that sorts you out. So I'm all for a little bit of a rebel protest, but a little bit of it. If you're putting, if the protest is putting other people out like this, you've made your point. Stop it. Move on. You've got the point. All you're going to do beyond that point is turn the people against you. So yeah, I appreciate the creativity. I'm not fully on board with the means to the end. Do the means justify the end? Maybe not. Iceman says holla holla. I'll read. This sounds like a middleware company. Also, this is a bullshit way of getting attention onto issues with Titanfall. Enix says this community manager for Halo said it well. Hacking the game to give the devs a message actually gives them more trouble than it's worth. Exactly. You want them to fix something, then they're all busy. Chances are the devs that are busy as fuck probably know about the Titanfall issues. It's the management teams that are telling them where to put the resources and stuff that make the calls on whether that should be on Apex or on Halo. And if Apex is the game that is making money, but arguably probably isn't making as much money as it was 12 months ago. So surely their teams are fighting to make sure that they can keep that game as profitable as it is. So maybe this isn't the best time for them to jump onto Titanfall. I mean, is there ever a best time? No, it's kind of like getting a mortgage or having a kid. There's never the right time. If you're always waiting for the right time, it'll never happen, sort of thing. So yeah, would Titanfall, if they're waiting for the right time, it probably wouldn't happen. So I get it again, but yeah, nah. If the message read Titanfall 3, it was next gen base. Maybe. I mean, maybe it wasn't. It said Titanfall 1 specifically with the 1 there. Maybe that was next gen base going so far out of his way to cover his tracks that nobody ever calls it Titanfall 1. They call it Titanfall or Titanfall 2. Maybe that's him. I don't know. Something. Can neither confirm nor deny my recent entries into hacking courses, says next gen base. Is there much to say there? AKA, I have meetings, let's go. No, it's AKA, we've been live for 1 hour and 20 minutes-ish. Where is it? 1:20. And it's supposed to be an hour-long show, so let's go. That's what it was. I almost want Respawn to turn around and shut off the Titanfall 1 servers with a message saying, right, you want to play Titanfall? Fuck off and play Titanfall 2. It's a better game anyway. No, if Titanfall 1 is unplayable, why the heck is it available for purchase still? That ain't right. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. If it's unplayable for whatever dodge reasons, and it should be playable, and they're charging money for it to be playable, then they should be held accountable. And they aren't being held accountable despite numerous ways of people complaining. So you can understand why people have taken the law into their own hands. Which is when I say I don't mind a little bit of a rebellious protest. It just needs to be enough of it. And okay, you've made your point. All you'll be doing now, the point has been heard. You know it's been heard. Whether if they respond to it now or not, they're not. If they don't respond to it, they're not going to respond to it anyway. So just let people get back to their lives now. All you're doing is pissing people off. That could be fighting your cause, not the people that could be fixing it. It's almost like the Matrix ending phone call ultimatum. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you. Yeah, exactly. Gonna start calling you Graham Guevara from now on. Well, okay, it's fine. Introduce a little anarchy, upset the established order. The Joker, aka Graham. Yeah, exactly. Anarchy is useful, and I'm all for peaceful protests in the right way, and I'm all for protests that don't want anyone dying or anything destructive. But there is peaceful protests suit the establishment, and that's what it is. If you protest in ways that me, a person of power, like, then you're not really protesting in a way that's affected me in that sort of sense. So I get where they're coming from. Don't necessarily agree with it in its entirety. But anyway, we'll leave it at that point because we are over the time limit. We do have another article, which we'll tell you about tomorrow. And it's about the RomUniverse owner that was sued for $2.1 million is considering relaunching that ROM site. We'll tell you about that tomorrow, though, with any other stories. Bib,
Yes.
Can people add any other stories? Is there anything that you would like to add?
Yeah, if you want to add them, then I may or may not use them. That's the caveat that I need to put in from now on, isn't it? But if you want to help shape our show, then there's two ways that you can do that. First of all, find us on social media. It's at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or get involved with our Discord there. If you are watching this on any of our demand services, all the links that you need will be in the description below. But all we need from you is the URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
The very next show will be, like every day, we'll be live tomorrow, smack bang on the money at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. ish. We go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. ish. Tomorrow is a Tuesday, so there will not be any afternoon or evening streams. Well, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Probably not.
Who knows?
But today, will there be an afternoon stream, Bib?
I think so. I need to see if my PC can run it first.
Heavy
I
committal.
really want to play some Vice City.
Oh.
But it's whether or not my PC will allow me to run it and stream with OBS at the same time, which may be a small problem, even though the game's like fucking nearly 20 years old. But I've modded it. So can the PC run it? We're going to have to find out, aren't we?
I mean, if the PC can run the game, I will be there in the chat, and I'll tell you why. That is because it's going to take a lot to keep me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more can ever do. Okay, that's enough of that. Yeah, GTA Vice City, nice. Without the music, though, because obviously DMCA. Or maybe with the music, but then we kill the VOD. That's probably the plan.
Yeah.
Because GTA Vice City without the music, ain't nobody want to see that.
What's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
No one wants to see that.
So if you want to see some GTA Vice City, then stick around. It may be on the channel, providing that the PC can run it. Nice. But that's it. If you haven't followed the channel, do follow the channel now. You will get notified when we come back on live with that content and any other content. Until next time, though, have yourselves a fantastic day. And remember to stay frosty.
Hey, Frosty.